this video, I'm going to show you how to do this teardrop from our Believe theme collection. Now, for the first time ever, we are offering these as a pair kit. So everything that you get, you'll be able to do two of with. Now, the kit will include one roll of the 21-inch striped mesh. You'll end up getting two bundles of the tubing because it'll take one for each teardrop. You'll get two of the contemporary wired poinsettias, two of the large ornaments, one in red, one in green. You'll end up getting four of the ball sprays, two for each, and four of the green ornaments, two for each, and four of the large red ornament. So we're going to start off with our 5-foot teardrop, which of course I've got already fluffed out here, so we can begin. And we take our mesh and make a 3-loop bow. Well, I've got hung up with my microphone. I bet that sounded good to you. So leave yourself a tail and make 3 loops for your bow. Now then, because you are making a pair from your roll of mesh, I really would suggest before you ever begin, so that they will match exactly, that you cut your mesh in half so you have 5 yards each. That way you will make certain that your bow isn't overly large and your lengths will all work out to be the same down your piece. Okay, we have our 3 loops. And I'm just going to tie that down in the center, up here at the top of our piece. Make sure that our tail is coming over here to the left, and our long length is coming down the right. Now then, always a good guide for working on a teardrop for your first swag is to come down about halfway and gather in and then lift slightly so that you get some excess fabric going and get a graceful swag. And you're going to let that swag across the right, tie in the center of your teardrop, come down to just past the bottom, gather in, let that curve over along the left side, and tie that piece in. And then trim straight across for your tail. Remember, with mesh, always cut straight across, not at an angle, because it does have a tendency to ravel out, and if you cut straight, that's the least amount of surface to ravel. Now then, we're going to start with our tubing. And we're going to, first off, just cut a double tail. So you're just going to cut a length, about 4 feet long. And I'm going to tie that down. Now, this is just to add some more texture to your piece, a little more interest, because the tubing is more narrow. A lot of times I'll use a double strand so that I have a bit more going on. Okay, and then for my bow, I'm just going to leave a shorter tail. Now then, I'm going to do 3 loops of this. And of course there's no twisting involved with this, just looped back and forth and gather in the middle. And I'm going to tie that down in the center. And then let that follow along with the striped mesh. tying in at each tie down location that you have. Cut off for the tail, and then come back up with what you have left. And we're going to do that again. So we're just taking that one length, go ahead and leave you another short tail up here, tie down so that you've got a second line running. Just as I said, this gives you a little more presence for the tubing itself, makes a nice texture. And trim that off as well. And that has the tubing portion done. Now then, the next thing we want to add is the larger ornament. And so that we're going to want to glue in, or you can wire in, depending on what you're using, but I'm going to use the glue. And I'm just going to take this flower stem that I'm using today to spread the glue and dip into my glue pan and just spread the glue along that top portion, and I'm going to tuck it down in here to the ribbon where I've got it tied, making sure that I've got good contact going just on an angle so that it's across like so, as you can see that I've got on the piece there. Then I'm ready to add one of my larger red ornaments. Just dip the top of that in the glue and pop that in, making sure it comes in contact with the greenery that I'm using to tie and also some of the surrounding mesh. And then I do the same thing with one of the green ornaments, bringing that on a slight angle and at the bottom portion of my cluster, because the last thing going in here is the poinsettia. Now the poinsettia, this is a more contemporary version. It's like your serpentine necklaces. We're just going to shape all the petals out. This gives you a little more updated feel than just a standard silk poinsettia. And I'm going to clip that stem off so that it's fairly short. And I'm going to dip that stem end in the glue and place down through the center also. So now I have all of my weighted cluster going. Now the final thing, we're going to come down here to the middle, the rest of our ornaments. We have our secondary weight at this location because we've got the most weight here at the top. Secondary weight is that large red ball, which goes where we tied in the middle. The slightly smaller green ball is going at the bottom where we tied that. So that goes in right down here. Now the ball sprays. What I am using here is different than what I've got in my ready-made sample. What you will be getting in the kit is this one. But after I designed that for you, either I used those all up in something or some of our other designers here managed to without me getting one pulled. So this just shows how you can be flexible and still get the same look. So you just want to shape those out some, dip that in the glue, and you're going on not quite a 45-degree angle, but almost. You want to tuck that in behind your bow so that it's aimed toward between 10 and 11 o'clock. And do the same on the other side so that those lines follow through. And of course, if you're doing this at home with your own things, use all these same techniques, same kind of placement areas, and you'll get good results every time. Sometimes on the ball sprays, if you need to, take the tip of one of the greenery pieces and just bend that tip right around. That will hold that into place exactly where you want it. Because sometimes they want to be contrary and roll with you. And there we have our completed teardrop. So try this at home. Feel free to order the kit on our website as you want, or again, try with your own items and be inspired and enjoy.